This problem is a great problem to begin reviewing those exponent properties and also how do we handle fractions. Now, first I always look, kind of following the order of operations, I always look inside the parentheses to see if there's anything I can simplify. In this case, there's not. They're different variables, so we can't do any simplifying. So then I start working outside of the parentheses, first with the exponent outside of the parentheses. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this exponent into each factor. So on the x, we've got 8/3 times -3/2. Now it's very useful, instead of multiplying first and reducing later, the numbers can get really big if you do that. I like to reduce early on. Notice we've got the 3's diagonal from each other. 3 divided by 3 is 1. -3 divided by 3 is -1. We can also reduce the 8 and 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So when I multiply across, 4 times -1 is -4. Over 1 times 1 is 1, or just -4 on the x. So looking back at the problem, everything else the same. X to the -1/2, y to the 4/5, x to the, we just found out, -4. And then let's look at the y's real quick. Y is -6/5 times -3/2. I know a negative times a negative is a positive. I can also reduce 6 and 2. Dividing both by 2 gives us 3 and 1. So that's going to give me 9/5. Y to the 9/5 over x to the -2/3, y to the -2. This is a good time to take a look at our negative exponents. When all the parentheses are gone, we'll notice there's some negative exponents on here that need to move around. Each of those negative exponents needs to move to a new location here. And so that's what I'm going to do. The x to the 1/2 moving down, y to the 4/5 staying on top, x to the 4th moving down, y to the 9/5 staying on top, x to the 2/3 staying on top, or moving to the top, sorry, and y to the 2nd moving to the top. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to combine the numerators and denominators together. We're going to combine the y's together, and we can combine, let's combine the x's together just by adding those together. So first, order of operations is going to have us, sorry, I forget the order of operations things. First, I'm going to add the numerator together, which is 4/5 plus 9/5 plus 2 on the y's. Now we put the 2 over 1, need a common denominator, so we'll multiply by 5. So we actually have 4/5 plus 9/5 plus 10/5 is 23/5. So in the numerator, I'm going to end up with y to the 23/5. The x in the numerator, I'm going to take care of him later. But in the denominator, we've got x to the 1/2 plus x to the 4th. 4 over 1. Common denominator is 2, so we multiply by 2. 1/2 plus 8/2 is 9/2. We've got x to the 9/2 in the denominator. Scroll a little bit to buy me some space here. We're not done yet because we can still combine the x's together. Now we've got 1 from the numerator and 1 from the denominator, and so what that means is we have to subtract those exponents. 2/3 minus 9/2. Needing a common denominator of 6, we'll multiply by 2 and 3. So we've got 4/6 minus 27/6 is -23/6. Now because that's negative, we're going to move the x to the denominator now with a positive exponent, 23/6. And in the numerator, y to the 23/5. There's no negative exponents, no parentheses, a single x, a single y. This is our final answer. So hopefully that video helped work through that problem. Let me know if you still have questions.